Usually when I'm, anyway, cheers. Cheers, man. I don't know what you say when it's smoke instead of herb. But
yeah, you can see everything.
Say cheers.
Cheers.
What did you just do right there? That was pretty dope. I ain't even thought about no shit like that. You see what you just did?
It's a mirror, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but I didn't know that would be like that.
I wanted to see it, but I didn't want to have to move it, so.
Oh, that's tough.
You put it there. But now you can kind of make sure everybody's in. Am I in? Oh, I am in. Yeah, you got everybody.
Yeah, it's pretty wide.
That's cool.
Alright. Yeah, well, again, Fabian, give thanks, man, for the invite to Swimming with Sharks. Again, we talked about it last strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just, I love when I hear, see a plan, coming to action. It's something that we just spoke about it, and now it's coming together. And so, yeah, just give thanks.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's dope. I mean,
Thanks.
that's cool.
And then that's to you. Give thanks for being here. Give thanks for hosting.
No problem.
And, gathering of brethren to talk about life and forward to our vibes. So,
For sure. Same way, this way for sure.
Back at you.
I just want to say that because I know this is your show and I don't want to, but I want to.
Oh, it's cool. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring out shit. I need a pressure cook.
Yeah, damn. Restart.
Alright, cool.
Go.
Alright, take two, bro. Take two.
So, after restart, Swimming with Sharks. It's like the one I showed. I was smoking a split from, I told you about that, from Jamaica. Not purposely, but like I was at the Bob Marley Museum. It was probably this big, and I smoked half of it, and I was just like,
Hey, can you travel with weed now? So
Legally? No.
you can't travel with it like in your check-in bag.
Can you move it from a legal state to another legal state?
That's what I'm saying. Like from California to here.
Like,
Get
no?
that transferred from line to line, unless you have the legal license. And the only way you have a legal license is you got to, like if you're a grower, you have to get licensed through the state. And I don't even think if you can do it there.
No, because at that point it had to be like transported like in a big giant bulk in a sense.
Yeah, and I didn't think so. It's a good question. It's something
Pull that ashtray over here. Let's put that one between us two and that one.
Google guys is what I said.
Cool. We good, Fabian?
His eyes kind of disappear.
Irie right now, you know? Yeah, whenever you ready to start the show.
Oh, whenever. Just, get everybody wants to put on the microphone. I mean, the headphones. Microphone.
I was from ask. Do we have to put headphones on here?
Forget it's official. You know what it just acting like you.
I just don't have an extra microphone. Alright, that's my headphone, I mean.
It's cool. Can you guys hear me though?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
You might be close to this mic.
Yeah, man.
Alright, cool. Everybody can hear themselves.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, we never knew, I guess, we see the board and everything, but never
Yeah.
thought about that. You need to have headphones on.
It sounds better. You can actually hear everything.
Yeah, man,
Kind of like
hear
the way.
everything.
Yeah, that's nice. I like
Yeah.
that.
It's like a radio station.
Yeah.
You know, recording booth or something.
Alright, so this is dope, man. This is a cool show. I haven't done the show, well, with
Camera.
yeah.
Camera. So it's not just a podcast, it's a vidcast.
Yeah. Nice. So the show's called Swimming with Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the host, Cool Compact. I don't think you guys want to introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. My name is PJ. They call me the Rastapreneur now because I'm a Rasta man and I'm an entrepreneur.
So. I'm DLOW. Mr. DLOW Shuffle.
It's the DLOW Shuffle. Nice.
I don't even know how to introduce myself.
Mr. DLOW Shuffle, Mr. DLOW Shuffle 2, Mr. Do It Like Me.
We need
Platinum recording artist, that's what he should say. You know?
Yeah,
He
that's
should,
what he
every
should.
time he should be saying, "Hi, I'm DLOW, I'm a platinum recording artist."
that carries the title now.
I be too humble, man. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
So, give thanks for inviting us to be a part of Swing Good Sharks. As I was sharing with you before, I like the title because in whatever niche that you are in, like whether it's working or leisure, like playing sports or something like that,
Yeah.
whatever niche that you're in, you're trying to be the top of your game. You have to swim with sharks in order to get there, basically. You know what I mean?
That's a good
the
slogan.
type of thing that you-
That's a great slogan.
Nice hashtag.
Yeah, that is a good explanation. I did it just because I thought it was cool. I like yours. I'm gonna start saying that.
I wouldn't say this dope philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright. Thanks, Mr. DLOW Shuffle. That's dope. I remember that. It was
Yeah.
like 6 years ago,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Dude, that was dope. It was all over the radio.
How old were you when it released?
6 years ago? I guess I was 22.
22.
Yeah.
Can you remember what you were doing at that time?
Was you
not,
doing
not,
it?
not, not
Yeah,
saying
you
at
were-
the exact moment that you were listening to the song, but like in that time in your life.
Don't even remember. But no, I'm not a good dancer, so I saw the dances. I saw everybody else trying it. I thought it was dope. But I just can't dance.
That's cool. Yes.
Did it make?
That's how it used to be.
Was Vine still around back then?
Who?
Vine?
Oh yeah.
Vine could've totally been that-
busting at that time.
Man, that was a whole different era.
I know, right?
Vine was crazy.
Yeah,
was changing
Vine was
Vine.
crazy. Yeah.
15-second video.
Way too quick.
Yeah.
Like way too quick. You had to do nothing.
Because that was really pre-musically.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That was before TikTok, all that
Yeah,
too. Where it's
yeah.
like this is just
Vine,
huge.
OG.
Yeah.
For sure.
What happened to that? TikTok? I mean, Twitter bought it and just shut it down.
I
Well,
think so.
Something like that.
in terms of what happened to Vine,
Yeah.
yeah, well, people just stopped using it because musically, like it
TikTok.
just kind of
Yeah. It took it to a different
TikTok.
It is music.
Yeah, it is musically now, but at the time it was just musically, and they just smashed. I mean,
Yeah.
it came out of nowhere. I mean, for real.
For real.
I didn't even know about it. DLOW introduced me to music.
That's crazy.
When he started his music page. And it's crazy because, like, when you think about musically, it was a thing that kind of set the trend for how music would be marketed,
Yeah.
you know, from
Yeah.
then moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure.
And how did you two meet? Or,
You want to tell it?
I mean, we can just do it together because, you know, it's always like
Yeah.
that your side by side.
Yeah, there's two different sides. Yeah.
So you can start with
Introduce
yours.
us to your relationship.
Okay. We met in September of 2014. There was a thing called the Art Fest. They only did it this one year. We
Yeah.
thought it was gonna keep going and going,
Yeah.
but it was Common's nonprofit with Kanye's nonprofit
Okay.
that came together, and it was like Diggy Simmons, Common, Kanye. Who I
There was a lot of
I remember that.
okay.
And what ended up being funny is because we hadn't like really met each other at this point in time.
Yeah.
We were introduced by his friend named Marquise. You know,
Okay.
so at that time it was like they were coming. I believe I was coming from St. Louis or something like
Yeah,
that.
we
right?
had came from the show.
And we were trying to crunch it where he can get there on time, but it just didn't work out where he actually got to the show to perform the show on time.
Yeah.
But we actually met each other after the show, and that's how basically how we met.
And how did you guys like decide to start working together?
I don't know. It wasn't even like a decision. It just happened.
Okay.
From that day that we met at the office, like every day after that.
You guys just vibe from then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, man. But, I mean, really, it's just how it happened organically. For me, I'm a marketing guy, so I
Yeah.
never set out to say, "Hey, I'm gonna manage somebody." You know what I mean? Like, I I just kind of know what I know from a digital marketing. Like Juan hear me talk about it with him a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he was an artist.
like,
Y'all don't know. Alright. His rap name used to be
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Fly as a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
True. Yeah. I have his
So
mixtape.
Man, that wasn't a thing for him. He was just like, alright, but I knew his vibe. He had a good vibration, and I can tell that he understood who I needed to become.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just like, let's do it. Yeah, let's make it happen.
That's dope. So you were a dope rapper?
I don't know. I was alright.
Nah, he was good.
He was good. He was
Listen,
good.
my whole career, and he's not gonna ever own up to this. My whole career, he's literally like helping me come up with lyrics.
Yeah.
And if I get stuck, I'm running to him because I know. If you please, everybody that ever watched this, go to YouTube and put in Mr. Plaza.
Hell yeah.
Listen to the music. It's on YouTube. He lyrical. That's what he do.
Yeah.
Good with metaphors, coming up with metaphors and stuff. So
That's
dope.
let him trick
I
you.
give him something.
But alright.
Watch this. See, here we go.
My environment's starting to bother me. I'm sick of being surrounded by poverty, with wishes of hitting the lottery. And hopefully I'm broke off properly, collecting profit like Monopoly, stocking the currency made off my property. Logically, robbery, disturbing fiends by the flockery seems to be my only means for me to clock a G. What's stopping me? The coppers watching me. You heard? Plotting so they could throw away the door and lock the key. Damn, I'm twisting my words. It's just I got it back. That's how bad it got for me, but still stay on top of my words just like apostrophe. Send my apology to anyone that's gotten to the rotten me buddy. But yeah, so I used to rap.
This man said.
Why'd you stop, man?
The reality of it is that I learned the business.
It was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it was me. I'm the reason he stopped rapping because he focused on my rap career.
Oh,
It was
okay.
me.
But with that, I mean, I learned the business, and
Yeah.
me and him learned this music business together.
Okay.
You know, that's why I'm actually joyed that we here to kind of talk about,
Yeah.
you know, this journey together. Cause
So you started liking the business side more than the being an artist side?
not so much liking it. I like it now, but it's just to understand that the powers that be knew that we didn't understand the business, so they took advantage. And would you allow me to?
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah, we no cut.
So
everything.
When I met D-Lo, what made me really decide to start working with him, like in a management perspective, is that
Yeah.
I was admiring him as creating the DLOW Shuffle, and he was signed with Atlantic Records, and man, y'all made it. The reality is, I don't know if he remember this, his friend Marquise had reached out to me a year before we actually started working with each other when he was first releasing the DLOW Shuffle. Well, it had released, and it was busting. And Marquise was like, hey, we need somebody to manage. I'm like, hey man, I'm not a manager.
Yeah.
Like, he can find somebody, like I'm not a manager. When we met and I found out he had all this success, but he didn't own none of his music. That was the
Yeah.
piece that made me say like, nah man, something gotta change, cause everywhere we go, he needs security to keep
Yeah.
everybody off of. I was gonna say kids, but like to keep people up off of him, but still and yet he don't own his music. And so that was the thing for me, and I feel like that's the pride that I take in us working with each other, because we
Yeah.
learned how to take ownership on our own. Even though we made the mistake of signing with a label through the process, and I assume if you want to ask, we can kind of get to kind of talking more about that. But like, we never should have signed with a label. We should have kept our own ownership, the same as Chance.
Yeah.
We were literally side by side with. I mean, I'm not looking it up. You can look it up on YouTube. He was choreographing a lot of Chance's early stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
one of my best friends.
yeah, man. So
Yeah.
it was like that, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where they were even telling us, hey, don't sign with nobody. But we just couldn't grasp at the time like what they were saying, you know?
Yeah.
It was just like,
And it's like, the difference was, man, we didn't have the resources they did. So our logic about it was a little different. It wasn't as like strong as them. Like, okay, yeah, we hear you say don't sound label, but we got to make that decision on
Yeah.
if we gonna do it or not, because it's ultimately our life.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we ultimately got to live with this decision. Like, hey, we stopped. Like as it did happen, if we was to not talk to them after that conversation, They still go live their life. They still got what they got going on, but we still here trying to figure out how things move, you know? So I feel like him teaching me business or even just how to really be business oriented, it helped me a lot because I didn't care about none of that when I was young.
Yeah.
I just wanted to create and dance. I didn't care about no paperwork or no label, and no money, even money. I didn't care about none of that. I just wanted to see my fans. I wanted to feel that love, and I just wanted to have fun. Man.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that was really the formula that worked because I'm the guy that's probably opposite. I'm always thinking about business. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but I'm always thinking about business. But I wanted to create a situation where he could just be creative, like just focus on the creative piece. And me, and I shouldn't just talk about myself, I have to talk about Olivia. Like, I would not be right if I don't talk about, I had a partner that started the management company that I have with me, but to help, I mean, step by step, everything that we're talking about, the success that comes to happen. Big up Olivia Gil Guevara. Yeah, man. That's true.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Olivia.
True.
And what was the company that you guys started together?
It was called Integrity Talent Management Group.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And then we had started a company called Unity Music Group, and just things didn't, materialize the way that we had thought they would.
And who else did you guys have signed on the label?
Every producer that he
Any producer that I had, they were signed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got your own in-house production team?
Yeah, for sure. That's dope. That's the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like when producers make songs or just beats, they make beats on either how they feel or something they heard or off an artist that's inspiring to them. But they never really figure you out until you like hands-on with them, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the easiest way to create your sound, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was one of those things that it felt like, again, ownership. It was like we had the thought process of ownership. It just, the label came and we really kind of, I think, thought it would 10 times what we were doing on our own. So it was like, let's do it. But the reality is that before then, we had created our own ownership and had built our own. And he was featured in the Wall Street Journal because of it. You know, like if you, I kind of got the link, I might find it and end up sending it to you. But like, they did a full feature on a young entrepreneur. Like he was kind of the first. I don't be wanting to like brag, but like, yeah, man. I mean, like in this wave that
trendy dance.
That to turning that into entrepreneurship. To say he's the first one dancing, but like we figured out, okay, Soulja Boy was first in terms of rapping, you know, but in terms of taking dance and creating that into dance and then dance and rap, like I feel like he was the first to kind of bust that door with it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you realize in life, the pioneers usually don't reap the greatest benefits. It's the ones that see behind them that figure out how to do it differently or a little bit better. But it's the pioneers. Think about the gold rush. I mean, really, when I look up history, it's something that even just came to me like recently, like in studying. Like the pioneers usually, did y'all know the person who created Coca-Cola ain't the one that put it forward in terms of marketing?
Oh no, it's like the hot Cheetos. It's like the whole thing. It's like you may not be the inventor, but you don't get props. The guy who markets it gets the props.
Yeah.
So it's not the pioneers usually. It's the ones that kind of come behind them and see like, hey, okay, well, this is what they could have done differently. But when you're doing it for the first time, you really don't know what to do differently. You just know to go for it. And
everyone else learns off you.
And I mean, again, I don't throw no shade on nobody, but we have a platinum record because of the work that we put in. It wasn't a label that helped us get there. And regardless to what anybody think or say, we can live with that and know it.
Yeah.
Along with my partner Olivia, we're gonna get her platinum in a couple of weeks. Man.
Nice. Did you guys know the DLOW Shuffle was gonna be huge? Like when you guys were putting it out?
Well, I wasn't involved when he released the DLOW Shuffle. I didn't know him at the time, so I could let him speak on it.
No, not at all, man. You never really expect, especially at that level in life, Papa. Like, I was just a kid from the west side of Chicago. I was dancing, fighting, going to school, learning. Like, I knew I wanted to do music. I had no idea that would actually happen. I wanted to be LeBron. I wanted to be Michael Jordan. So that's impossible. You know what I mean? So I never thought it was possible.
And then you guys did the part 2 as well, right?
Yeah, part 2.
And that's what exactly like around the time
That's
we
like
met. Yeah.
That was a snap of us, right?
Because even at that time, it was like he didn't even have his own YouTube channel at the time because somebody else was the same way as the first DLOW Shuffle. And that's what I was talking about, ownership. I don't want to really kind of get, but it's like, I feel like if an artist listens to this, I want them to kind of get something
the knowledge
out of it, you know what I mean? In that regards, like, make sure you have ownership of your own. Now he has ownership of his own YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So, it's that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Meaning, like, it's 13 ways that artists get paid off of one song. And it's just making sure you own all those 13 ways that you get paid.
Yeah.
Even if you don't own all 13, you at least want 10.
Right, yeah, right, yeah, true.
You need a majority of it.
Yeah,
Some.
for
Good
sure.
amount. Which one was bigger, the part 2 or the first one?
DLOW Shuffle.
No, I'll say DLOW Shuffle. And the reason I tell you DLOW Shuffle, I'm gonna go, I told you, because we were in Florida to do a show, and so he has the rare ability to entertain like families, like younger kids with families, you know, a family event up to like a club with grown people with, you know.
Yeah, because it's a whole different region as to like what he can market it as to somebody else could have marketed it.
So he has that rare ability to hit both demographics. But when we were in Florida, this was like a club, so I'm like, you gotta just turn up time.
Yeah.
So I told him, don't do the DLOW Shuffle. And he's like, nah, trust me on this.
I let them know, like,
Yeah.
they know this.
These are grown folks and they turned up.
Everybody doing
turned
DLOW
up.
Shuffle?
Oh my God.
So from that moment, from seeing it, you know, and I mean, we done traveled. I done saw him perform for the 10,000, 5,000. But that place that night when he did the DLOW Shuffle, it was like a club. It was like they turned all the way up. For the DLOW Shuffle. So
That's dope. How does it feel when you're on stage and you're looking down there and people are just going wild, having a good time?
It feel great. I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah.
It feel like I'm alone here. You know, I don't got stage fright. Never did. Never had. In front of 2 to 2,000 to 200,000. I love people. You know, I love seeing people happy and having fun. So just knowing that I'm the cause of that, being in that situation, being able to look every person in the eye, and get that energy from them. I was in heaven, man.
And he mean it.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you, I'm the business guy, so sometimes we got to get on to the next one, and it's like we got to get out of here. He will literally stop security, everything. I'm going to sign everything. Take a picture with everything, everyone.
You know, time, and the reason my logic behind that is time is something you can never get back. That's the one thing in life you can never get back, you know, death, stuff like that. But then people have to come see me. They didn't have to spend their money. They didn't have to wait. They didn't have to just make me a priority for that day. But they did, so I feel like I got to return the favor.
Yeah.
That's what
That's dope.
That's how I feel about it.
That's a nice way to like see it. Like I had never really like pictured it from that angle, and that's dope. Like time is everything.
Yeah.
So it's like
Once you get your time,
that you really have to appreciate. That's dope. That's dope.
Sure.
The fact that you would like sign everybody's stuff.
Did that, I mean, I'm not joking. We traveled this country twice, probably. You know.
Talk to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Cool.
we did a Let's Dance tour with all the Trinity dancers. Hit the Quan,
Okay.
the Whip Nene,
Whip Nene Salento, the guys that created the Nene dance,
Okay.
and just that was it. And the second tour I did was Summer 17 tour with Jermaine Dupri. And the kids from the rap gang, Miss Mulatto. Well, her name Mulatto now. Nova. I know y'all know him from New York. He busted his name, Prince J.I.
Okay.
You know, yeah,
That's
like
different.
those kids.
Oh, okay.
And we did like every.
That's cool. That's a dope wave.
Yeah, it was.
And outside of the tours, I mean, individual bookings of just promoters reaching out and saying, "Hey, I want you in my city." Like literally, at our peak, people don't believe it. It was 5 days a week he was on stage performing. I'm not joking.
Like every
in a
day.
different city.
You never got tired?
No. I was
No.
young. I was in shape.
He
My
would be
drive.
asleep until right before he's supposed to be on stage, and somehow out of nowhere, just a burst of energy and turn up the crowd. Like I love it. It was
Tuned in, man.
It was a great time for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
What was your favorite show you did? Like, best show or?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough right there.
You're a champion if you can give one.
Yeah.
That's tough. I don't know, man. That's a hard question. Because I had a lot of great shows.
I mean, even
on this lot, even a lot of people, we still make a great show. You know, so I don't know. I can't answer. I can't answer.
Because you gotta think, we would hit the stage with I said we.
Nah, but you want to feel like you're up there with them. Though.
Yeah,
well, I guess
it's when you see the way he moves up there, the way he performs, everything else, like it drives you. When I hear like bounce to the left, bounce to the right, I'm thinking that like as he's saying it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an energy, definitely.
Can you guys talk about any like crazy stories or any tour? Without getting intro or whatever.
I don't really got anything crazy.
Nah, he got some great. He got some great. I have a lot of great. Man, I have a lot of great.
Who's someone that
I won't allow him to get himself in that trouble.
Yeah,
That's the question.
Yeah. Let's skip that one. That's a tough one. You're kind of putting him in a uncomfortable situation.
No, we good. I put it good.
How did it feel like when you found out you went platinum?
How did you find out you went platinum first? Like how did this? Were you like watching something? Were you like paying attention to something?
Somebody, my old friend, they used to work with us, Marquise.
Okay.
He used to be my road manager.
Okay.
Back then when we first met, but he had text my phone, and he sent me a picture of the 1,000,000 units. So
Yeah, that's dope.
Platinum.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey yo, PJ, bro, we platinum right now. Like we was on the road.
Yeah.
Coming back from a show. We was going to a show actually.
You remember what city or what time you guys were back?
We was going. It was World of Dance. I think it was Dallas, Texas. It was Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
I was hosting World of Dance that day, and I got that text message and I showed PJ. We reached out to the label, right?
Yeah.
We reached out to Atlantic. So
I had kind of been, because once he showed me the numbers, and I had kind of even thought so myself, but once he showed me the numbers, I started reaching out to the label, and they started verifying the numbers. So yeah, I mean,
It's sexy.
to Atlanta.
That's gotta be like an intense feeling. Like it's just like
How did that feel?
it just felt like
a big milestone.
all the hard work paid off. All of the studio sessions, all the traveling, the flying, the staying after shows for hours, just everything, man. It felt like the sky's the limit from that point. Like if I feel platinum, do something I love doing, get pulled, awarded like that, I felt great. It was just blessed. And just not even just for me, I felt good for PJ, PJ, Olivia, and even Marquise. Like, I just felt good for us as a unit.
Yes,
The sacrifices we made as a unit, the things we did and overcame as a unit, it just felt like.
And I know people say like you never look back, like you look forward, but like that team that he just talked about, us four, if we would have just knew a little bit more than what we knew at the time, yeah, man. I mean, we had the power team.
It's tough.
Like we at that time it was and the same with any team. You have stuff behind the curtains where you're ruffled because you're a family, but we all had a purpose and it was all working to one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So Marquise, big up Marquise, wherever he is.
And yeah, so where's everybody else at now? Or how is everybody else involved in the team?
They not. I'm sorry. They not. Olivia kind of went her separate ways a couple years ago. And majority of it, honestly, and they never let me do it, but a lot of it's my fault. Me being so young and so naive and want to not listen at moments and not pay attention. Like, I dug myself in a hole early, just being too, like, all over the place. And they came and they fixed it. They helped me fix it. They tried to help me understand, and I just consistently made the same mistakes in different ways.
Yeah.
Just not really caring, honestly. It's not like I didn't know, but I just didn't really care being that young, just doing whatever. So it's like, you know, at a point in time, you ask yourself a question, like, do I keep going through the same things, or do I make that transition towards my happiness? You know? So that was what happened with Olivia. When she left, it was just me, PJ, Marquise. I kind of fired PJ because honestly I was like an opportunist, you know.
Okay.
I kind of seen opportunities and just went straight forward with her, or tried to figure out what I can do to make that opportunity just about me, because that's just how it was. I was naive, you know. So I kind of fired PJ to move to Atlanta and allowed Jermaine Dupree father Michael Malden to manage me. You know, I thought it was a better situation. I thought that he knew people, you know, that's Jermaine Dupree father. Pretty sure he knew people. We can get money. We can just make it happen, you know. And Marquise was still with me at the time. But it's like once you gotta really, in order to manage somebody, you gotta really be able to, or be willing to figure out who they are as a person outside of music. You know what I'm saying? And we never established that. So he didn't know who I was. He didn't know what I liked, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do things. He wanted me to go in a certain direction that didn't make sense and it wasn't working, you know?
Yeah.
And then I left him, and I stayed in Atlanta alone, me and Marquise. And the situation with us, it was just like a personal thing with us, you know? It's like when life get hard, we both got to be on one accord to just help each other. And it didn't happen like that, you know? So we just stopped talking, stopped being friends. I let him go, and I just was by myself, you know, for like a year and a half.
Down in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Atlanta by myself for like a year and a half, and then when I came back home, I was just lost, you know, didn't know.
Cause how old were you at this time? Cause you popped up young.
21.
Yeah, I was like 21 around this time. Yeah.
That's crazy. I remember when I was 21. Reckless.
Yeah. See, so you,
so
understand.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like
you've been there, done that.
it's like no matter who's telling you what to do, it's on you. Like it's just
like you're so stubborn at that moment because like it's like, you know, this
you have money that you don't have before. You got different like who are you to tell me?
Yeah, that's how I felt with the people that actually helped me become that person. So like everybody was just away, and I was in Atlanta, and I was just alone. I came back here, and I was just so lost, bro. Like I didn't understand who I was, what I wanted to do. I was not happy and so unsure of myself. And then I just was like, man, I want to just do music again.
Yeah.
That was my happy place when I came from that struggle. So now that I'm back, like kind of that, let me just start back doing music. And I didn't want to deal with nobody, so I called PJ. I knew he was the only person that knew me. He the only person that understood me.
Yeah. I
stayed with them. They took me in. I stayed in this house. They gave me a room, my first room ever to myself, my first bed ever. They gave me that, you know. So I knew that he knew who I was day to day, not just music or with a microphone or on camera, you know. So I reached back out to PJ, and he didn't hesitate. We got back together. Olivia, she was, Marquise, we just didn't deal with that.
Yeah.
Just because of me, because I wasn't comfortable with that situation, how our friendship ended, you know. And that's just what it was. feel me?
Yeah. So there you have it.
So you guys working together now, or?
Yeah, so unfortunately we not, right? And let me tell you why.
Because the same way that in sports, sometimes the coach and has to go on to a different team.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but it's love. You know what I mean?
All love.
So it's
for
like
sure.
that's the thing that
It's my
I want
father.
everyone to
Yeah.
know. Like it's love. It's just one of those things where sometimes the reason that they change a coach is because sometimes even the message get old. Meaning like a person hears so much it don't even resonate, so they need to hear the message from a new person or a new place. And he's now signed with Tunnel Vision Music Group and moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man.
Yeah, that was the best answer.
So,
Yeah.
And I know he know that I talk a lot. So I was gonna talk about so much. He just put it nipped it in the bud though, for sure.
So what's next in the music career then?
I'm just working on just really establishing who I am as an artist for myself first. Finding my sound. I got a producer that I work with hands on. And we kinda create my sound and trying to figure out direction. You feel me? So that's how just working.
What's your producer's name?
Hit God.
Hit Guy?
Yeah, his name is Hit God.
I know Hit God.
You know Hit God?
I've heard his his tag.
Yeah, Hit God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he in Boston, man. I love him so much. It's gonna be crazy when we start doing it.
That's gonna be dope.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. Because when I remember when I heard Hit God, the tag, the name is just
Yeah.
that's it. That's it.
It's just gonna stay in your head, bro. In your head.
Are you still gonna keep trying to do like dancing?
I'm not trying to be a DLOW Shuffle no more.
Okay.
I'm trying to like transition myself into a Chris Brown type, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I want to still dance. I want to still do choreography. I still want to be that person. But I want to elevate, be more grown, be more
Okay.
sexy with it, you know?
Nice.
I mean, kid is talented, man.
Yeah.
Like, that ain't went away, you know. So it's just like exposure to more people. That's that's it. Really, not enough more people. That's nothing. Just more exposure. That's the lack.
And honestly, like, man, my career did this. It's like it happened not because of lack of talent. You know, it just happened because just life and situations happen, and sometimes you just don't know how to deal with it.
Cause let me even tell this. Okay, we dropped "Do It Like Me," which is the platinum song, right?
Okay.
We dropped that on September 29th of 2015. 6 weeks later, we were in Capitol Records. We have the pictures to show, signing with Capitol Records. The very next day, Atlantic Records, which had signed him for the DLOW Shuffle, came and stopped that deal basically. And like we were literally getting ready to sign on a house in Beverly Hills. Like like, and it
Like-
changed within. We wake up in the morning and
day.
yes. And when he say a day, we not exaggerating. The next day.
Everything went down here.
What's
It's
right?
like, how can you control that?
Yeah.
Like, how can you even
And
like?
the same A&R that brought us into Capitol Records is the same A&R that brought P and Q from Quality Control Records to Capitol Records at the
Okay.
same time in 2015.
That's tough.
Yeah, man.
So they just came in.
They had just went 7 times platinum with the Whip Nene. Why wouldn't we sign with them?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
talking international. Every label had came out trying to. I mean, we visited every label, to put it that way.
Yeah.
Supported us, you know.
Okay.
But we ultimately decided on Capitol because that was the right play. And
Makes
still
sense.
to this day, I mean, we see what they doing with QC and
They didn't even
everybody
have
else
an
out there.
urban department.
They didn't. You know, they.
No.
Like, I was gonna be that urban department for them. They was gonna use me as, hey, we got an urban department. Look what we did for DLOW. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that was gonna be me. You know, but instead it's Bill, Quality Control, and Little Baby, and you know.
So I mean, this is not to like for anybody that watch it, be like, oh, they're trying to like these are real
It's facts.
real deal facts. You know what I mean?
Facts.
The very next day they stopped it, and then for 3 or 4 months the labels battled,
Okay.
and then ultimately we couldn't do nothing. Like we couldn't release music because we signed with Capitol, and now the labels So we can't make money. Ultimately, we referenced and said, okay, we'll meet with Atlantic Records.
Mhm.
They threw it on heavy. It was like, we know what we did before. We won't be this way again. But it seemed like it. I mean, not seem like it happened again. I mean, it's just that thing. So it's just one of those things where it's like, if we would have just been able to stay with the label that we had wanted to sign with Capitol Records, how much different things would have been.
Yeah, it would have been big.
So I mean, I'm
It's
talking
crazy,
about,
right? Like how a flick, just like a light switch. It's just that's it.
Yeah.
we woke
Quick.
up that next morning, and I mean, we thought we was getting ready to sign. We was telling, because they had told us on his advance they would just sign off on the place, whatever
Mhm.
we found, you know, just so he could stay there. Because they was ready to hit the ground running. Like, doing like me was, I mean,
Crazy.
the first 2 weeks we hit a meal. First month 4 mil. 6 weeks 32 mil. I mean,
That was tough.
yeah, man. You
That
know,
was tough, man.
and this whole time, I didn't know, and this is where me as management, we had made close to $300,000 on streaming revenue that had been made, but the reports that now come to artists monthly were quarterly. And I don't know, like, we were seeing $48,000 checks from YouTube,
Yeah.
so we were kind of maybe just so focused on that I didn't focus on that we had made, and that's why I'm telling you, when Chancellor was telling us to stay not signed, because they knew that's how much money we were making, because they were making the same, but we didn't know that's how much we were making at the time. Yeah, man. Because had we known that everything would be different too. So I guess I want to put that out there.
Yeah,
if anyone,
for sure.
Wonder like, yeah, man, we just, I dropped the ball on that one, because when I ended up realizing it was literally like 267,000 that was made, and we never saw a dime what was paid out to the labels because we signed off on it, you know.
Yeah.
And at a time, I don't even know if you remember this, when we went and did Stephen Colbert with Chance, and Pat introduced us to the SoundCloud guy to allow us to start making SoundCloud revenue. This was 2015.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then we ended up
That's
signing with a
crazy.
label, and we couldn't get the SoundCloud deal. Like, it's a lot that, like, hindsight, of course, you look back on it, but they were trying to tell us, like, just stay the course. But I think we all within our team, because again, as he talked about, it was like a team of 20 of them that we saw, and it's a team of me, him, Marquise, and Olivia.
Just 4 of them.
So we felt like that was really it. Why I'm talking about money, it was the team, because we were making money, so it really wasn't about the money. When we was reasoning as a team, we was talking about that we can get a team that can help us. So
Yeah, you were trying to
it
get
was about
pulled.
that.
Yeah, you were too small.
That's
So,
exactly what it was.
Just,
That's
you know,
tough, dude.
Didn't work out. Roll the dice and crap out.
And what about now? Do you own all your masters, or?
Yeah, I'm well, now that I'm signed to Tunnel Vision, they get their percentage and stuff.
Okay.
I for the most part, I own majority of the
Nice.
Yeah.
And what about you, PJ? What are you doing now?
I'm branding and marketing guy, man. The rosterpreneur, man. Like, that's all I'm about. Whether it's a brand, a podcast, or artist, I work with. And then I'm still integrity talent management. So what am I not? They're gonna kill me if I don't say it. But thanks to him, I signed a young lady called Kiara Cornelius, and we're getting ready to release her first single called Won't Be Bad. I had to think about it.
Yeah, like he literally saved my career with his branding and his knowledge of knowing how to do that. Even like labels pay people like him to change lives like he did for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the perk. Like anybody that he does sign with, any artist that is allowing him to run that, is on the sky's the limit for them. All they gotta do is work. All they gotta do is produce. You produce, you work, do what you do. I guarantee he's going. The only reason why me and him is not a thing is because you literally just grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then at that moment of life, it was just a lot going on. It was hard, you know. And I knew the person I was at that moment in time was not healthy for the person that he wanted, that he was. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I literally had to just be like, look, let me step back and get myself together. I need a few months to just reconstruct me, and I don't want you to hold. I know you will. I know you have no problem doing it. It's not a burden on you, but I feel like you just need to just do what you do best and live your life. Don't keep allowing my downfall to be yours, even though that's what you do, because you love me and you support me, you know? And that's why we departed. It wasn't like no fight in bad blood.
Okay.
It wasn't nobody or nothing. It literally was just life was going at a pace for the both of us that it wasn't what we wanted, what we needed. It was beneficial to us. You know what I'm saying? And we just needed that window of opportunity to just figure out an adventure and explore, you know. So I went that way, he went that way, but still, we still right there.
Okay.
You know, literally, we still right there. Just right now, it's just a restructuring process. We're just restructuring us. So when we both get to that level, and it's time for it to do and happen the way it should, it's happening.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's happening.
And you guys are planning on it to happen, like working together again?
We don't need. It's already locked in. It's
Okay.
already there.
Right.
It's just we just need to.
We never stop working.
Yeah.
We would never will, no matter what, no matter who, what, when, where, how. Like, this is my father. It's
Yeah.
not just a manager or like just the guy that raised me, helped me become who I am as a man.
Mhm.
You know, outside of music, just as a man. So of course, we locked in for life.
Never gonna stop working.
It's life, man, for sure.
It's just, but I also have to mention my other artist as you can
Oh, yeah,
mention.
yeah.
It's a reggae artist because we're going to California. That's who I was telling you about. But like we're going to do a concert. Her name is Kaziah, and I actually I feel special about even the transition. And you just almost really touched me with what you were saying. But like, remember we rebranded. He was Bob King DLOW. Everybody was like Bob King DLOW. But putting him as Bob King DLOW only puts him in that dance.
It's just in a box, man.
Yeah.
And so we was trying to brainstorm, and I got to shout out Marquise too, because he was part of this process. But we came up with I am DLOW, which makes a statement. You know what I mean? It's like this is me, so I'm not in the box. I am who I show you I am. So her name, we're switching from Princess Kaziah, while I'm mentioning it, to I am Kaziah. And the name of her EP that we're releasing is I am Kaziah. And the name of the live concert that we're doing is I am Kaziah. So it's like a birth, and it's a rebirth for me because I haven't, my bad one. I haven't even been really even wanting to manage, because branding and marketing is what I do. I'm like managing this. I love music, okay? I guess I'm very passionate about music, but I love branding and marketing. And it just happened to fall in place. But with this one, it just feels like a rebirth of really starting with him and the team that he's working with. Like, I guess the best way to put it is that right now I'm a Rasta man, and reggae has my heart and soul because I have my own reggae radio station. I heart reggae music and RastafariJam.com, so check it out.
That's true.
My own radio station, and so I'm like really in that realm, and so I'll be doing him an injustice to try to say I'm going to push a hip hop artist, but my focus is really on reggae.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the label that's behind him is focused on pop and hip hop music, and additionally they have the funding that I don't have to actually push it. So that's, you gotta look at things, and I think we're both mature enough to realize, like, man, this
is the best situation for both each one of you. It's kind of just growing pains, man.
But as he said, I mean, this is my son, so that's gonna be for life. So it's like I'm gonna always support him. If he called me and say, "Hey, I need some advice," I charge $75 an hour for consultation. He know he can always get information from me for free. You know what I mean? So,
So yeah, that's why I hired a PJ to work at the shop.
Right?
I'm like, I need someone to talk to because I need to strategize with somebody. Because back when I met PJ, I met him at the barber shop, and so it wasn't until I worked next to PJ, because I wanted to kind of escape my realm in a sense of like what it is that I do when I cut hair. I learned I was scared to cut black people hair because it's just a whole different culture. It's just everything's it's not what I do. It's not what I learned. I've definitely been taught more with Hispanic culture, and with Hispanics we get all types of hair, but it's like, well, when you have like a real like black person who's not Hispanic, it's like you have this whole other. It's just like, don't touch my hair, don't mess up my lining. My lining has to be like on point. This whole thing, man. I was terrified, dude. Like of how it is. Like I do not want to be that guy that gets made fun of because I fucked someone up. So. We got a chance to rearrange our stations at the shop. And they're like, what do you want to be next to? I'm like, I want to be next to PJ. I'm like, I need to know what the fuck PJ knows. PJ's an older barber. He's been doing this shit forever, and he's an entrepreneur. That's why he is the Rastapreneur. Yeah. He's living his Rasta culture. He is still a barber because that's an art of its own kind. But he likes music. He likes putting people on. He's very, very key piece in my like success as well because when I was working alongside him, I'd pick at his brain all fucking day. Yeah. It's only right. That guy's intelligent. Bro. So when I saw his post on Facebook saying like, "Hey, I'm trying to find someone to cut hair," I'm like, "Yeah, man. I need you to come back." You know what time it is. Yeah. And that's a really give thanks for that. Oh yeah, because that's a real unique story. Yeah, I got me excited. Peach is the man. Well, good. Yeah, man. Love, brother.
You got any artists you're working with?
No, not really. I still got songs that I did with artists for years that I haven't done.
Do you know he got a song with T-Pain?
Oh yeah?
He got a song with Chance the Rapper. What? He got a song with Jeremiah.
You ever drop those?
Got a song with T-Wayne.
Are you gonna drop them anytime?
I don't
know. I don't know.
Can you email them to me a second?
We have a listening session.
And we dropped these in Germany and they went crazy like they knew him. It was like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, how is that like going to another country and they're turning up to your music?
It's nerve-wracking.